Hi class. So this week we start on Unit 3, and Unit 3 covers Chapters 4 and Chapter 5, and it's about probability distributions. A probability distribution is a statistical model that shows the possible outcomes of a particular event or course of action, as well as the likelihood of each event. This actually looks a lot like what we did back in Chapter 2 when we created the relative frequency table. So a probability distribution is going to look a lot like a relative frequency table. One practical use for probability distributions in business is to predict future levels of sales. You guys use them in cybersecurity. You might want to predict future attacks. In criminal justice, you might want to predict future crime or whether crime is going up or down. Let me think. In electrical engineering, you might want to use it to test the reliability of certain components. Okay, so using scenario analysis based on probability distribution can help a company frame its future value in terms of likely sales level and worst case, best case scenarios. So again, you can also use those in the other areas that I just mentioned. So how will this unit help? This week we'll discover the usefulness of the normal distribution. The normal distribution you've all seen before. It's a bell-shaped curve. And it's called that because the shape of the distribution resembles a bell. And from the normal distribution, we can assess probabilities and make inferences about the sample and or data we are evaluating. So again, we always want to be able to make inferences from our samples back to the general population. So we're going to start doing that in this unit. You will also apply basic concepts of probability. You'll learn how to create and use probability distributions to make decisions in inferential statistics. And again, inferential statistics is the branch of statistics that consists of generalizing from samples to populations, performing hypothesis testing, determining relationships among variables, and making predictions. You're going to use various statistical principles to calculate the mean and standard deviation of a normal distribution. And those will lay out the rules that will allow us to make assumptions about our distributions. And it's the basis for making many of the calculations that we will use in this unit. So this week, we will construct probability distributions to calculate probabilities and expected values, describe binomial and geometric distributions, identify how the mean and standard deviation are used to characterize a normal probability distribution, find probabilities of events using the normal distribution, and draw conclusions based on various principles. So again, this week, the readings are from Chapter 4 and Chapter 5. And the other thing due this week, your project. So the project was actually due in week 2, but if you did not finish that work yet, so you might have turned it in as a draft, which is fine. I will grade it and post comments, and then you'll have the opportunity this week to get that project perfect. Okay, whatever you, any work that you're doing to improve the part A of your project needs to be completed this week. And if you didn't turn it in last week, this is the last opportunity that you'll have for me to accept work from that project. So this week, anything you get in this week for your project, it will be given full credit. But if I have not received anything by Sunday, at that point, we will take off 10 points per day from the original due date. So if you wait until next week, until week 4, to turn in any part of your, the first part of your project, and you haven't turned in anything, then 7 points will automatically be, 70 points will automatically be deducted, and the highest grade you would be able to get on part A of the project at that point is a 30%. So I hope that makes sense. The project is worth 15% of your grade, and the second part of the project, 50% of the points come from part A. And the second part of your project is worth 10.5% of your grade. So you definitely don't want to lose those points.